Hi, so I recently picked up the Sirui 35mm Anamorphic lens. Earlier this year, I did play around with the 50mm lens. I usually shoot on my gimbal and I'm a bit run and gun with things. I felt like it was a little bit too long, so I decided to wait and see if they would release a wider lens. And surprisingly, it was only a couple of months before they came out with the 35mm lens on their Indiegogo campaign. And I think in September they managed to raise $1.9 million USD. So there's a lot of anticipation for this lens and it was picked up pretty quickly. I ended up getting this for about $599 USD. Just one thing to note that this was actually shipped out of China, so you have to be aware of any duties. I think if you buy that directly from Sirui, but you should be fine if it's from your local supplier. So, without further ado, let's cut this box open and see what's inside. Here we go. So here's what the box looks like, pretty cool. Image of the lens, kind of reminds me of a phone box. This is like my early Christmas present. So here's the next layer. So just underneath, it looks like there's a little container with all the instructions inside of it and accessories. So we've got a little bag for the lens, and then inside there's two gear rings. Here we go. Ta-da. And of course there's a little instruction book. So here's the lens. It's actually wrapped in plastic. It kind of reminds me of like smoked chicken or any kind of meat that's kind of been like vacuum sealed. I think this is probably just for to protect it from dust, which I think is pretty cool. So most of my lenses are Lumix lenses, so they're actually pretty light. Compared to this, I feel like it's actually quite heavy. It feels really solid. The rings are actually both pretty smooth when you spin them around. Here we go. Can you see that? Looks so cool. I'm actually really excited to try this out. So I've got a GH5, so I've got a micro thirds version, but there's a couple of different varieties out there. So stay tuned. I'm just gonna stick this on my GH5 and I'm gonna see what kind of cool footage I can get. I hope you like what you saw. I really enjoyed shooting on the Sirui 35mm Anamorphic lens. One thing I'd have to say is if you're going to shoot during the day, make sure you get an ND filter. At 1.8, it's really blown out, so if you want to get that shallow depth of field, get an ND filter. I think if you haven't got either of these lenses yet and you're choosing between the 50 and the 35 is going to be a little bit more versatile. I felt like when I was testing the 50mm, it was a little bit tight and hard to work with on the gimbal. So my choice, get the 35 and you'll have a lot more fun with it. Thanks for checking out my video. If you enjoyed the content, please hit like and subscribe to support. I've also filmed a couple of test videos on the Sirui 50mm Anamorphic lens, so have a look at those. Thanks again and see you next time.